Today, we're going to talk about the effects of alcohol on athletic performance. Now, I had a really good time in college, and specifically when I studied abroad in London my junior year of college. That's really when I started drinking.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's where I learned to drink. I learned it with the Brits. And I had,
well, they know.
Yeah, I set up my schedule for study abroad where I only had class Mondays and Tuesdays. So I had 8 hours of class on Monday, 8 hours of class on Tuesday, and then I had 5 days a week of liver training.
I love this. This sounds like a great training.
Oh yeah, and I loved it. It was so fun. I loved my experience out there. Well, in 2015, after doing a extremely hard yoga sculpt class, after a heavy night of drinking, I told myself, why am I doing this to myself? This can't be good. I should probably stop the excessive alcohol use.
Yeah.
And I had a theory. I didn't do any research on this, but I had a theory that if I did that, maybe my athletic performance would get even better. At that point, I was still the same person I am today in those classes where I pushed as hard as I could, but I had this hypothesis that if I cut alcohol out, I could probably push even harder. Well, today we're going to talk about why my hypothesis may have actually been true.
Wow. Well, what do you think it was? Do you think it was true?
I do think it was true.
I would assume that you're correct. Yeah. Well, we'll just talk about this. And this is something I always say. What is alcohol? We're just going to take alcohol. See, and I'm not great, but there's a C in there. I spelled it right. But if you look at what is alcohol, alcohol is really ethanol. Let's just look at that. That's ethanol. And
They have similar letters.
they do have similar letters. And if you look, especially with my handwriting, they seem very, very similar.
Basically looks like the same word.
It looks like the same word. But ethanol is really what we're putting on our body. We call it alcohol. And I assume it's like it makes us feel better about it. But
this word scares me a little bit.
it is
to be
a scary
honest.
word. And I believe if we as Americans quit calling it alcohol and said you're putting ethanol in your body, it might affect our relationship with the drink. But ethanol, what happens? We're going to talk about what it does to you when it gets in your body.
Yeah. The crazy thing about alcohol is the reason why we even have beer and wine and hard liquor in the first place was because way back when it was a health issue to drink water in certain parts of the world. You literally couldn't drink the water because it was so dirty and it was causing so much disease.
Wow.
So what ended up happening is they started making things like gin and different hard liquors as a way to drink the water, to distill the water so that you could actually hydrate your body. But then what happened is since gin and these hard liquors have so much alcohol content in them, they saw a rapid increase in crime because people were getting drunk and they were doing these crazy things. So then this really smart guy created something called Guinness. Beer. So beer was created as a low alcohol content drink that you could get water, you could get the hydration in you, and at that time there were other nutrients in the beer that would sustain you as well. Well, today in America, we're not drinking alcohol because we have shitty water.
Yeah.
In some places in America, we do have water issues, but we have access to water in America. We drink alcohol solely for fun, for recreation.
Without question.
Yeah. But the
Without
roots,
question.
the roots were for health, but now we just do it to party.
I want to be honest, I just learned that.
I learned it on a podcast a few weeks ago.
Brilliant. I can't wait to tell everybody about this. Fantastic.
So athletic performance, there's really three things that happen when we're working out. Let's go through those. So what are the three things? We work out, and what happens? We break down muscle.
Ultimately our goal is to hurt our body, which sounds weird, but we're trying to rip up your muscles because that allows your body to heal your muscles. So a lot of the purpose of athletic performance is to break your body down so then you can go rest and heal. And we do that through sleep and through putting good nutrition in. So that's our number one goal, allowing your body to heal.
And we rest.
We rest.
And heal.
We rest and heal.
And then ultimately,
that allows us to increase our athletic performance.
Great.
So our entire objective through fitness and nutrition is to break your body down, rest, heal, put nutrition in your body, recover, come back stronger than you were before. Important process until this guy gets involved right here. When this guy gets involved, everything changes.
Yeah. So since 2015, every single year, I have decreased my alcohol consumption
for you,
in some
Johnny.
way. Every year, it's gotten
Good for
better.
you. That's great.
Well, a couple of years ago, I had a conversation with Robbie about this because I really did want to know, like, so what does this actually do? And when you told me that alcohol, where it kind of interjects itself into this process, is here. So alcohol comes here and it says what?
Stop.
Yeah.
Stops the process. Hard
Boom.
stop.
This is no more.
Now. No more. It's over. We've talked about this in previous videos. Alcohol, they're empty calories. It's detrimental to your health. But really, when we're talking about it there, all it is it's taking up space for your protein, your carbs, your fats. But in essence, in this part, in this process here, it eliminates everything because you're no longer healing. The healing process in your body, all the good stuff that you're doing through your workouts, your rest, your recovery, that process breaks down because your body immediately turns into one process. Yeah. There's only one process going on, which is purge, detox, get the poison out, because alcohol, which is ethanol, is a poison. It's a poison. And that poison is what stops the entire process because your body is no longer focusing on healing. It is now doing one thing. It is trying to get this shit out of your body. That's all it's trying to do. It is stopping everything. So the effects that you feel when you're drunk, that loopy feeling, the fun, drunk feeling, it is so much fun, but all that really is your body trying to purge this stuff outside of you. And so you no longer, this is why people, a lot of my clients that drink alcohol, they have a tough time seeing progress. They're like, I'm working out all the time. My macros are in line. My calories are in line, but nothing's happening. Well, that's because this process right here, you work out, you break down the muscle, you rest, you heal, you have increased athletic performance, your body's getting stronger. None of that happens anymore because the stop happens now because all it's trying to do is shut down and get this stuff to leave your body.
Now, the crazy thing about this is there aren't any really strong medical research studies that have been able to prove this. And part of this is because in order to do that, you'd have to be watching the people in the studies 24/7 for months.
Yes.
And you just can't do that. You literally have to lock the people up in the study and watch them and make sure that the people who aren't supposed to drink aren't drinking and the people who are supposed to drink are drinking. But there is one study that Peter Attia talks about in his book Outlive, where there is medical evidence that shows that alcohol interrupts sleep.
Oh, 100%.
And sleep equals rest.
Yes.
Rest equals healing. So even though, at least for me personally, by cutting out alcohol, actually, I still drink, but when I have an event coming up, like I have my 100K run coming up in September, I am personally not going to drink for 3 to 4 months leading up to that. Because, yeah, and that's what I did last year for my 50 miler. Because when I did that, if I do a 20-mile run and then I have a beer after, or 2 beers, or God forbid 3, 4, 5, or 6 beers, now the benefit that I get of increasing my ability to build up to that 50-mile run has been interrupted. Yeah. How can I increase my athletic performance? I've just worked out, I've ran 20 miles. But then all of a sudden I'm having a beer, so instead of resting and healing, my body's detoxifying. Now it's still rebuilding a little bit, but it's not rebuilding like it needs to increase my athletic performance. So I have just personally experienced major gains in endurance and strength by drastically increasing my alcohol, to the extent that I keep track of alcohol as a macronutrient, and I keep track of how many days it's been since I've consumed it, because I've also researched and felt the effects of having these 30-day windows of not drinking it, where different processes in your body that aren't able to even happen if you're even having a drink once a week. When you take 30 days off, your body is able to do a lot of cool things. So that's why I've done it, but it's also just been based on feel, based on just my increased athletic performance by doing that. But the medical research does show that alcohol does mess up sleep patterns, and medical research also shows that sleep is extremely important to cognitive health and overall metabolic health.
Yeah, without question it is.
Now remember, we're not doctors, and I'm kind of just talking out of my ass here. So we do have a disclaimer to check with your medical professional. Probably go read the book Outlive by Peter Attia. He goes through all of the actual medical data there, so you don't just have to take it from me, take it from the actual book, but read the actual book to get the true medical research behind this. Otherwise, really, you can experiment with this yourself and test your own hypothesis of maybe alcohol is preventing me from my goals.
It 100% is.
I think we can claim
we
that.
can claim that. Not a lot of things. I'll die on the mountain. I'll die on that hill. I'll die on that hill. Yeah. It's a poison that prevents progress. Yeah. What's funny is when I was growing up, this is my era. When I grew up, we were told that you were supposed to drink a glass of red wine every night. Yeah.
Which in some countries is actually okay because of the minerals and nutrients that are infused into the wine in that specific process. But it's like in specific countries.
I didn't know that.
It's like a blue zone thing.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know that. I do know in America, our studies were based off of one doctor that was people in he was collecting data, and he released a paper based off of his studies on his people, and they found that there's nothing with that doctor. They found now there's nothing that supports what that guy was saying whatsoever. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because some people say, well, if I have a glass of red wine or a beer or whatever, it helps me sleep. Well, what is actually happening is it does actually help you go to sleep.
Helps you fall asleep.
Yeah. But you're not actually getting the deep sleep and the REM sleep you need to. It actually prevents that.
100%, yeah. We're finding more. In my nutrition study that I went through, we found there is zero reason to drink alcohol whatsoever. Now, obviously at the same time, we don't want to tell you don't have fun in your life. You know, that's like saying don't have you're not allowed to eat Pop-Tarts. Pop-Tarts aren't good for you, but you can still have them. You can still drink alcohol, but it's really not great for you. It's really the opposite direction that you want to go. So we're not going to tell you don't do it, but don't do it. Enjoy your life, but just see what we're saying here.
Let's see, how many days has it been since I drank?
Let's see it, Johnny.
Because there's this like quote about the Buddha, right? Where like,
is it black and white?
Yeah.
I heard about this today.
Yeah, so I can change it. 1, 2, 3.
I'm going to do this. Somebody told me about this today.
It's
You're the
good
first
for
person I've seen it.
dopamine, so it's like it
Yeah.
decreases the dopamine response
Yeah.
in your brain when looking at
Brilliant.
your phone. So what Robbie's talking about is my phone
Right.
is in black and white now. I just read this book that it was actually a terrible book, so I'm not going to say the name of it because it is what it is. But in the book, I learned how to turn my phone into a dumb phone. It was the one thing I learned in this 250-page book, and it was like the last chapter. So I learned how to turn my smartphone into a dumb phone, and one of those things is by turning it into grayscale. And it really does work, because the dopamine effect of being on your phone is drastically decreased when you're looking at a
Impressive.
black and white screen.
I like it.
Yeah, I've done a couple other things too, like turn off notifications and all this stuff.
Yeah,
but
those are good too.
Yeah, I've been trying to like turn it into a dumb.
The black and white thing that's going to get me. I'm doing it. I'm doing it when we leave here. Yeah, so thanks for watching. We're on Athletes with Asthma. Johnny Havey right here. You want to reach me? 3 Boys and Dad on Instagram is the way to go. Stay tuned for more videos. This is a lot of fun. We got a lot of stuff that you're going to love to hear and follow along with. And Johnny is a great living example for how to build your athletic performance. And if you have asthma, how you can get through that by just taking care of a few simple details in your life.
Thank
You're doing
you.
a great job.
Thank you.
You're an inspiration to me, my man.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
You too. Well, let's get to the next one.
Let's get to the next one.
Thank you for the likes and subscribes.